Democrats in Congress are planning to vote this week on a House resolution condemning anti-Semitism. This comes in response to comments by freshman Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, many are calling anti-Semitic. Speaking at a town hall event last week, Omar said she wants to talk about the political influence in this country that says it's okay to push for allegiance to a foreign country, referring to the influence wielded by pro-Israel advocates. Now, in the past, Omar was rebuked by both Democrats and Republicans for suggesting lawmakers support Israel, quote, for the Benjamins, referring obviously to money there. And before that, Omar drew widespread condemnation for a now deleted tweet in which she accused Israel of, quote, hypnotizing the world to its evil actions, a statement she's since apologized for and claims was in response to human rights violations in Gaza. So for more on this, we're being joined now by Sam Husseini. He's a senior analyst at the Institute for Public Accuracy. Sam, good to see you. So let's start here. A month ago, Republicans brought up a similar resolution in response to Ms. Omar's previous remarks about AIPAC bribing lawmakers. You were here to discuss that. It was passed unanimously. This time around, the Democrats are leading the push against their own member. Politically speaking, why would they do that?
Because support for Israel and for broader U.S. foreign policy, aggressive in the Middle East and elsewhere, is a totally bipartisan affair. I think Omar now has basically three choices. One is keep this smoldering, as it's been smoldering for the last several months, as you rightly point out, and that means keeping the focus on her and keeping it at the level of innuendo. Was saying the Benjamins, is that anti-Semitic? No, it's about influence and money in politics and so on. Or she can fold, like somebody like AOC has fundamentally done, not talk about Israel-Palestine anymore, even throw Omar under the bus to some extent, calling her her remarks outright anti-Semitic. Or she can expand it and make it deeper. And by that, I mean talk about the specifics of Israel policy on the one hand. The UN report just came out talking about Israeli brutality. She hasn't even tweeted that out. Why doesn't she make that the issue?
Human rights violations there.
Massive just outright slaughter, criminality. It raises the specter of prosecuting individual Israeli officials. Deep-seated U.S. Policies towards Israel. The U.S. government refuses to acknowledge that Israel has a massive nuclear weapons arsenal. It's an absurd position. If she were to say something like that right now, what would the establishment do precisely? And broaden it out to not just Israel, because Israel is simply the most virulent manifestation of settler colonialism. Okay. But that's part of what U.S. policy is generally in a lot of places. I would argue from Venezuela to a neo-colonial order. So I don't think she should be seen, and I hope that she's not actually singling out Israel as the only aggressor here, and somehow the U.S. is a good guy, and Israel and Saudi Arabia, she's alluded to, are corrupting the pure United States government, because that's not accurate.
I think publicly it looks like her bravado is geared towards Israel, and she's kind of doubling down, I think, and not folding, as you said. But maybe in the PR sense, it's kind of bad for her right now.
Well, I don't want to minimize the fact that there's a virtual lynch mob coming after her, and some of it are these, alleged thoughtful writers that say, well, why doesn't she say anything about Saudi Arabia when she's actually said things about Saudi Arabia that are just as strong as what she said on Israel, but somehow they don't trigger the same response.
Here's the thing. So many congressional Democrats have been critical of Israeli policies in the past. Some of them have been critical of Benjamin Netanyahu without getting accused of anti-Semitism. So when she's echoing these sentiments, I mean, are these, standard anti-Semitic tropes that somehow other people are getting away with and not her?
I think that there's a level of ambiguity to some of what she said, and that there's an incredibly high sense of sensitivity on these issues, and there's a massive apparatus that has nothing to do with protecting Jews and everything to do with protecting a massive Zionist lobby. That therefore goes after these things. But that same sensitivity isn't there on other issues. I mean, the way that she's gone after, I think in part, because of her being dark-skinned and Muslim and wearing hijab and so on, I think is arguably far more offensive than anything that she said.
Meaning that she's kind of an easy target because
that she's an easy target
what she represents?
And I mean, other aspects of U.S. policy are stigmatize Muslims massively. I mean, after the Orlando shooting, tragic shooting, the entire political apparatus, not just Trump, was full of innuendo. These Muslims know. The wife knew. All of this
it's a them ideology.
A total them ideology, which is far more brazen than anything that Omar has done, and somehow that's all forgotten.
Okay, so it sounds like the takeaway from your sentiment is that the bravado is taking away the attention of the seriousness of what she's addressing. So
yes, and there's an obvious lynch mob against her, but I think she can be defending herself much better than she is if she really wants to get at the issues.
I think we'll keep seeing more coming out of the Omar camp. So we'll leave it right there, and hopefully we'll have you back to talk about it again. Sam Husseini, thank you so much for your time today.
Great to be with you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.